This is the M18 Milwaukee framing nailer. Cordless, of course, because it's battery operated. This boy's hefty. Normally we run pass load gas nailers. So it's just pumping a little gas in there and it ignites it and then fires it. This way is pneumatic, I guess. I'm not 100% sure how they fire, but it's pretty sweet. But as you can tell, that's a unit. I mean, it has some good heft to it. I don't love how heavy it is. The pass loads win on that front, because the pass loads, something that's really important when we're framing, is if we can't hold, like if you're holding a rim board on the edge and you can't hold the gun out with one hand towards you, like it wants to go down. It's just a little too heavy. And some would say just, get stronger, but I don't know if you want to get stronger just to be able to use a specific tool that you're supposed to be using every day. So it's a bit hefty. It does fire really fast and it's pretty accurate. The bump fire mode is awesome, but it's one of those things where it's a gadget and we need a good tool, and it works, but we want a good tool and not just a gadget. So it has one little hook here, which is basically useless because this rail is in the way. So when you try to put it anywhere, it can sometimes hook, but other times, because this nail rail is in the way, it will just doesn't want to hook. So it also has this little hook, which is nice that it's there, but it's also annoying. It's great for throwing over a wall because it's big enough to fit over, but it's kind of just meh. But yeah. Like, most of the time when we're framing, that's just one hand. It doesn't fire towards your face unless you're pushing down the safety, so it's fine to do this. But like, arm's length out here, it's a little too hefty. And all this around it kind of just feels too bulky. It still works fine, but sometimes you just can't quite get it in the space that you need it because this sits too long, or this rail sits too long, this and that. It's pretty good for toenailing. This claw in the front is pretty good. Doesn't have a lock. It comes up. It's a little annoying. So you just load your nails first and then pop it over. It's alright. Depends on the gun that I'm using. Sometimes I prefer that this guy will come up and lock. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't. But like once you have nails in it, it's like, oh, that's pretty hefty. I wouldn't. It's not something I want to throw around a lot. Versus our trusty pass loads. They're they're just the right weight that you can toss them around enough that they're not going to break anything, but So, decent tool. I mean, we run old DeWalt stuff on site, so having to have different, I mean, that's technically not true. We have everything DeWalt for a majority of our tools. The only Milwaukee stuff we run is this added to our arsenal, but also the finishing, the 18 gauge and the 23 gauge, nothing tops those for cordless. We have those. We have now a Milwaukee laser, which is pretty sweet. But in general, we still have like 95% old DeWalt stuff because we just haven't had anything that actually tops it. I don't love Milwaukee impacts. I don't love Milwaukee drills. They don't feel powerful enough. The Milwaukee impacts will beat DeWalt on torque, but I don't always love the handle on them. This is all like really nitpicky stuff that nobody cares about, but it does mean something to someone who uses it every day. Like, for example, I still use this tiny little saw. Now, this is an old saw. We slap, it's a 20 volt max. We slap 60 volt flex volt batteries on this thing. It chews better, but this is not strong, this is not powerful. You probably want a 60 volt compatible one, or you want the worm drive, but the worm drive is so dang heavy, and the 60 volt ones is just heavier. This guide sucks on it. There's pivot points that are so weak that like you bang it and it's off. It's not even straight anymore. This thing has fallen off a roof like countless times, and all you gotta do to correct it is like, okay, so it's not perfectly straight. You just take your square, check on the blade. If 0 on this is not 0, then you just adjust it to 1 and it's fine. The back of this doesn't go out, like it doesn't, because this is what's connecting it. And there's a bit of like movement in it, but just for some reason the newer one just is designed terribly. So yeah, eventually I'll probably upgrade to a 60 volt because it chews through stuff. Like this guy you don't use for ripping material. You use it for cross cuts, you use it for thin sheeting. Majority of the time that's what I'm doing with it anyways. But anytime we're doing like ripping a 2x12 or something like that, 2x6, 3/4 sheeting, got to get the 60 volt because it will chew through it, no problem. This guy will bog down. Just is what it is. So yeah, I didn't mean this to turn into a tool rant, but yeah. Just figured I'd show, because not everyone knows about this thing and not everyone has seen it in action. It's pretty sweet. I'll quickly bulk fire it for you. Let's see. So, there we go. So this is on this mode. You just hold down the trigger. Pretty sweet. Pass load can't quite beat this guy on that speed, but it comes so close that it's kind of like, whatever. Anyways, I'm finishing up some framing details in this basement. I gotta level these beams. This little bit right there is too short now, so I gotta throw in a different chunk of beam. And then we need to level these beams, and then this floor system should be good. And this is a huge basement. So, but this is like a, I don't remember the exact dimensions, but it's something like 35 by 45. It's pretty close to square. It's a pretty big building, but yeah. See ya.